Hey folks, Matthew Bivens here, and because you're listening to this show, I know that you want to have the most extraordinary life possible. I'm talking about a life with purpose, where you do meaningful work, have fulfilling relationships, and feel healthy and thriving. But many times, having all of that doesn't seem possible. You have the happy career, but you are lacking in health. You have meaningful relationships, but you feel lost and without purpose. Well, now there's a way for you to see exactly how you stack up in the most important areas of your life so that you can accelerate your self-growth and truly live the life of your dreams. Using my free tool, the Abundance Benchmark, you will gain deep and valuable insight into 6 essential areas of life. It's absolutely free, and you can get yours right now at www.matthewbivens.com. I know this stuff is super important to you, so don't put off your personal development any longer. Grab the free Abundance Benchmark and get to having it all. Welcome to Having It All. My name is Matthew Bivens, and each week I bring you conversations and insights that explore the question, what does having it all mean to you? My goal is to leave you with stories you can relate to and messages you can take action on so that you can create an abundant, loving life. I am so excited that you're here to hang out with me today. Now, let's jump right into this episode. Today's episode is a continuation of a series that I started a couple of weeks ago where I dove into the meaning of having it all and the framework behind having it all within the context of this show. So if you look at the title of this show, you'll see that ALL, A.L.L, is an acronym, and that stands for an abundant, loving life. So the show is really about what it means to have an abundant, loving life. So what I've been doing is going into the meaning of having it all and the framework that I have created and really am testing to see if this framework is really what it takes to have an abundant, loving life. And so I've gone into the different pieces of the framework, and we've done 3 episodes so far. We did an episode where I just do a broad an overview of the Having It All framework, and then part 1 is where I dove into the first part of the framework, which was A, abundance. Part 2 is where I jumped into the L, the first L, which is love, and this is part 3. And so today we're talking about life. So again, abundant, loving life. And today's episode is all about that life piece. So there are many components to life, obviously. And you and me, we wear so many different hats in life. And what I mean by that is we take on a lot of different roles. So for me, for example, I have the role of a podcast host on this show, the role of a husband to my wife, Sarah, sibling, I'm a son, I am an entrepreneur, I'm a creator, and there's so many other roles. I'm going to be a father soon, so that's another role, and you have tons of different roles yourself. And so we have all these roles, and we show up in different ways within these roles, and each role comes with their own set of responsibilities. So when I'm talking about life within abundant, loving life, I can't pretend to know what roles that you have. And so what I've chosen to do is focus on what I think are 6 key areas of life. And by addressing those key areas of life and making sure that you are showing up powerfully, showing up with your best self in those 6 areas, that's how I believe you can have it all. So the 6 areas, I've mentioned them in other episodes. I've talked about them a couple times, but they are faith, family, friends, fitness, finance, and fun. Now, I did not invent this at all. You can actually go online and Google search the 6 Fs, and you'll get something very similar to this. Some of these lists have 7, 8 Fs. Some of them have 5 Fs. But I choose to go with these 6 Fs. And where I first heard it was through the Your Day Balance game. And the creator of the Your Day Balance game, his name is Day Adioba. He uses the 6 Fs as part of the framework for the whole, the entire Your Day Balance game, which is a 3-dimensional game in the world of health and fitness that really focuses on health, fitness, love, and balance. So it's a very balanced game. So I've been playing this game for a number of years. I've heard those concepts. And when I wanted to create something for this, for what having it all meant, I borrowed the 6 Fs. And they fit really perfectly, I think. So again, the 6 Fs are faith, family, friends, fitness, finance, and fun. And now, what I mean by the 6 Fs and how they fit in with life, really, everybody is going to have a different meaning for those 6 Fs. For example, what faith is to me is different than what faith is to you. Same for friends, same for family. And so it's important that, I don't sit here and try to define what faith is, but rather put out there that by having faith or having friends, having family, and wearing on those roles and showing up in those roles, however you choose to, that, to me, is where you begin to have it all. Because remember, all, A.L.L, stands for abundant, loving life. So, are you experiencing abundance in those 6 Fs? Are you loving the experience in those 6 Fs? Are you loving who you are being in those 6 Fs? And do you have all 6 of those Fs currently in your life? So, for example, let's just choose family, right? Is your experience of family an experience of abundance or scarcity? Do you feel like you have relationships with family, abundant, healthy, thriving relationships with family? Or do you feel like you don't? Are you estranged from family? Do you, again, family doesn't have to be blood, right? It's however you define it, but it's how you're showing up, how you're experiencing family. Are you experiencing abundance or scarcity? And the love part, how are you showing up? Are you showing up with love in that family role? Or are you showing up with fear and judgment, right? So you can do that. You can apply the, am I experiencing abundance and am I showing up lovingly across all 6 Fs? And then like I just said, do you have all 6 Fs in your life? Because not everybody does, right? There are people who have no fun. Maybe their finance is really overinflated because that's where our career is, right? It's how we are generating our money to, live the lifestyle we want. So maybe that one is where they put all their time and they have 0 fun and very few friends, right? Or you could flip that around. Maybe somebody is all fun, right? They're all fun, they're all friends, they're all social, but when it comes to their faith, they have little to none. Or their fitness, they've let everything go. They've let their health go. So that's how A.L.L, abundant, loving life, works within the context of this show. And I say that multiple times because it really is within the context of this show that, having it all, abundant, loving life really fits. And now the reason why I wanted to create something like this is because I've been so inspired by the frameworks out there that I have come across and I have used in my own life. For example, Stephen Covey created a framework when he published the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. He did not invent these habits. For example, the first habit is be proactive. He didn't invent proactivity, but what he did is he organized them in a way and he described them in a way that if you were to follow those 7 habits the way that he laid them out, you become more effective in your life. You become more effective in your different roles and relationships. That's just one framework. Another framework that I've used, and my wife and I are currently working on applying this, is Dave Ramsey. He created a framework in his book, Financial Peace. He has 7 different baby steps to getting to financial peace. And so right now, her and I are working through those baby steps. We're working to save up $1,000 in our emergency fund. That's the first baby step. And again, emergency fund wasn't something that Dave Ramsey invented. He just looked at what he wanted to ultimately create, which was financial peace, And he thought about the elements that needed to be in place in order for somebody to experience financial peace. And he put them in a way that was easily digestible for people so that folks like myself and like you could buy his book, buy his program, go through the steps, and ultimately get to financial peace. So that's what I'm doing with Having It All. Because I completely, totally believe that we all can have it all in life. And so I have set out to define what having it all truly means. The way that Dave Ramsey defined what financial peace means, the way that Stephen Covey defined what personal effectiveness means. My goal is to define what having it all means and to make it something that people can actually fit around their lives. Because one of the questions I ask every single one of my guests is, what does having it all mean to you? And I've never heard two of the same answers. And I love that. I love that every person has a different sort of definition and everybody looks at it differently. But for me, I know that I like to have that sort of framework. I like to have those things that I can be playing for, and that I can ultimately measure. Like, am I experiencing my family in this way? Am I experiencing friends this way? Am I experiencing fitness this way? And if I'm not, then I can say, okay, so what do I need to do in order to experience love towards fitness? I can shift a couple things. I can tweak a few habits, And so I'm getting off on a little bit of a tangent, but again, this episode is all about life and the 6 F's: faith, family, friends, fitness, finance, fun. And so what I want to do now is go into each of them, sort of break them down a little bit, give a little bit of explanation. And then at the end, I'm going to give you a couple of ways that you can start to implement more of the 6 F's in your life. They're just examples. There's probably dozens of different things you can do for each of the F's. I'm just going to list a few. And I'm keeping all these episodes short. No more than 20 minutes is my goal. So I'm going to breeze through these things. And really the meat is going to be at the end when I give you the 6 things that you can go and do. So faith, to me, and faith within this framework is just a belief in something bigger than you. It's believing in something that you don't really understand. And so I'm not talking about religion specifically. You can have faith and not consider yourself religious. I mean, that's personally how I feel about myself. But religion does fit in here as well. Faith can be your religion. Faith can be in your God. So really, this first F is just about that belief in something bigger than yourself. The second F is family. And it's interesting defining family and then going into the third F and defining friends, and because there can be a little bit of overlap there. And so I like to use this as a visual. I like to use this visual as an example. Picture the Target logo, the Target stores. Their logo is a dot with 2 circles around it, right? So I view family as the people in that innermost circle, really that dot. Your family is the people in that dot. Like, they're the closest ones to you. They're the folks that you've had experiences with that have just gone so deep, and your connection is so deep. And it's not always blood. It really isn't always blood. And for an amazing example about this, I invite you to go listen to my conversation with Robert Monroe. And the title of my podcast with him is You Have to Move Your Feet. That's the title of the podcast. You have to move your feet. And the reason why I'm sending you there is because Robert Monroe was orphaned at the age of 12. He lost his mother to AIDS when he was 7, and he lost his father to AIDS when he was 12. So, he lost those parents. He lost that blood. However, when you talk to Robert, he feels he has many, many parents, because over the years, he had many people who were looking out for him, many people who were making sure that he was well fed, making sure he was going to school, making sure he was getting his grades. So he had parents despite losing that blood. Those folks to him are family. So family, again, does not need to be blood. And I personally also wrap into this family F romantic partners, such as like a spouse or significant other, because I think that they can be and they tend to be part of that innermost, that core of your life. So family also includes them. Now let's go to the third F. The third F is friends. And so if you think of, again, the target symbol, friends are going to be that first circle around the dot. And friends are really people who are in that inner circle. That's your personal tribe. Like, they're your boys, they're your girls. They ride with you. They're there to support you. They're there to see the greatness in you. And friends also, they tell it like it is. They are the ones who will give you the uncomfortable truth. They'll give you that raw feedback that you may not want to hear, but because they love you, because they see potential and greatness in you, they're willing to do those things. So that's how I define friends. You might have a slightly different version of friends, but boom, that's what it is. Let's go on to the fourth F. The fourth F is fitness, and fitness is all about your health. Your health. So I like to ask the questions when it comes to health. Is your body in a state of perpetual detox or intox? So the detox, are you detoxifying your body? Or are you healing your body? Or are you intoxifying your body? Are you bringing in toxins? Are you bringing in things that are actually hurting your body and reducing your health? Are you treating your body with kindness? I like to just think about whether or not you're being mindful about what you put in your body. And that doesn't necessarily just mean food. When I say, being mindful about what you put in your body, it includes the foods you're eating. It includes the things that you're drinking. That can be water, that can be juice, it could be alcohol. It also includes information, right? Information goes into our body. It includes environments that we place our body in, because the energy of those environments and the toxins of those environments go into our bodies as well, as do conversations with other people. That's part of the information. So it's the things that are going in your eyes, the things that are going in your ears, the things that are going in your mouth and your nose. All of those things that are going into your body is all part of your health, and all of those things are incorporated in this fitness F. Now, the fifth F is finance. In finance, I think of simply as your ability to generate what you need to live the life that you want. So I'm not talking about being wealthy here, although that is the goal of many, many people, to ultimately be wealthy. But really, are you living within your means? And I also like to take it a step further, because if you think about the first L, which is love, right? Are you loving your relationship to your finances, right? A lot of people don't love their relationship to finance, whether they're making a lot of money or very little money. They don't like their experience around it, and that looks like workaholics, looks like people who just are burning themselves out, who aren't loving life, who aren't loving their experience of life, who aren't loving themselves, but they're making a lot of money, right? They got a fat bank account. They can buy the cars, they can buy the homes, they got, multiple condos or whatever it is. That's one side of the spectrum, folks who don't love their relationship to money and finance, and they have a lot of it. And then, of course, there are those who don't love their relationship to money and finance, who don't have a lot of it, right? The people who always are just scraping by. They're just barely making it. Maybe they're the folks who are constantly asking friends and family for a handout. And I'm not judging those people. I'm just saying that relationship to money may not be a healthy one. And so that's what we're talking about in finance, your ability to generate what you need to live the life that you want. And the sixth and final F is fun. And to me, fun is really about just letting your inner kid out. Letting that kid out, laughing, enjoying life, and just letting go. So this personally is where I thrive. I'm a master of having fun. Sarah likes to say that I can make myself laugh at any situation and at just about any point in time. And I can. I love laughing. I love feeling light. I love having fun. And so fun means different things to different people, and you are the one who defines what fun is to you. I mean, I get enjoyment and I have fun mowing the lawn. It's a fun activity for me, but some people hate it. So fun is all about you defining what it is for yourself. And, many folks regularly aren't making time for fun. Fun for a lot of people happens exclusively on the weekends, or maybe even only on vacations. So a couple times a year is when they might actually have fun. Otherwise, they're just, they're hustling, they're surviving, they're getting by, their nose is to the grindstone. And, I don't have to talk about the importance of fun. There's plenty of studies out there that you can go and Google that people have researched the importance of fun. It's one of those things that you can survive without. You can survive without fun, but I don't think you can truly thrive without incorporating fun into your life regularly. So that's why it's the 6th F. Faith, family, friends, fitness, finance, fun. That's what those 6 Fs are all about. And now, as promised, I'm going to give you ways to measure your, how you're showing up in those 6 Fs, but also just things that you can do. If you're not even into the measurement thing, maybe you're not there yet. These are just simple things that you can do in each of the 6 Fs to just put reps in and just live them out in your life. So faith, a very, very simple thing you can do is 10 meditations over the course of a week, or maybe just one meditation a week. And it can be meditation or it can be prayer, right? Maybe you want to just sit down and pray. So a couple of meditations or a couple of prayers per week, start doing those things, and now you're starting to really exercise that faith muscle. And I have 10 in there, so if you want to do 10, that would be awesome. If you end up doing 10 meditations or 10 prayers a week, but build yourself up. Start with 1. So with family, one of the things that you can do for family is to have family dinners. Just a simple family dinner. You have opportunity every single day to have a meal with family. And so set a number. Maybe you want to, I don't know how your family is. Maybe your family is incredibly busy and getting together on the table just doesn't work. So maybe set the number low, one time a week. One time a week, we sit down as a family around the table. No phones, no tablets, none of that stuff, and we just experience one another over dinner. Or if you end up having multiple family dinners a week, maybe you step it up and you do one where the kids cook. So the kids cook family dinner once a week, or you guys go out. Maybe that's in your budget to go out once a week. You could also, if you didn't want to do dinner, you could do family playtime, right? So my sisters and my mom are very active outdoor people. So my wife and I could set up a weekly hike or a monthly hike, just some sort of playtime with family. So dinners and playtime, that's a suggestion for family. With friends, I think just spending time with friends, genuine time with friends. I think a lot of relationships, especially as you get older, they tend to become more and more digital. You talk to your friends via text, you talk to them on Google Hangouts, you talk to them on Facebook, but you don't actually spend that FaceTime. Maybe it's because of distance, maybe it's because of jobs and scheduling. So just make time a couple times a month, a couple times a week if you're able to just spend time with friends and really cultivate and nurture those relationships. And if you can do it face to face, that's even better. You're able to give your friend a hug and look into their eyes and laugh with them in person. That's the best. So I have on my list of things 4 couple outings. So that's another thing. Get together with a couple friends and go out, whether to a movie or a dinner or a show or to the park, whatever it is. Just have fun. Get together with friends, preferably live. So the next one is fitness. Fitness is an incredibly easy one. You probably have as many ideas as I do on different fitness things you can do, and there's no shortage of ideas. So all it is really here is to commit. Just commit to something. One simple way an easy way to create that commitment, that habit in your life, is to incorporate other people. So for that, you can get a buddy and commit to doing a run every week, or maybe it's a hike, or maybe it's a walk. But bring in somebody else, and you're really giving them the gift of fitness as well. Or if you really don't have anybody, any friends that you can reach out to, go find a meetup group. There is absolutely a running group in your city. If there isn't a running group, start one. Go get a t-shirt and say, this is my running group, and start running, and people will join you. Definitely happens that way. I've seen it happen. I'm a part of a running group in Atlanta, and people join us just because they see us running consistently. So incorporate some sort of fitness into your life. If you haven't done fitness in a long time, start small. Start very small, right? Maybe it's just walking your driveway a couple times. I have a neighbor who lives in a cul-de-sac, and he's probably in his 70s. His name's Ed. And when I walk my dogs, I see Ed out in the cul-de-sac doing laps, just in the cul-de-sac. And he does that because there's shade and it's cool. So be like Ed. Just start a nightly habit of going for a walk in your cul-de-sac. It doesn't have to be far. You don't have to break a sweat. Just start there and then build. Now, finance. So finance is another one that I'm very diligent about. I'm working on creating that habit because I want to have financial peace. So I like to use Dave Ramsey's financial peace and his 7 baby steps. So just work on those baby steps. Go Google it when you're at a computer, not when you're driving or anything. Google Dave Ramsey 7 baby steps, or click on the link in the show notes of this episode, and you'll see the 7 baby steps. And the first one is to put together an emergency fund. So that's a great place to start. And you do that by putting away a little bit of money every week, every month, whenever you can. And that money is only to be used for emergencies. So that's a great way to put some reps into that finance F. And, it can be a quarter. If you're just putting a quarter away every week, then you will build over time. And maybe you'll be able to put more than a quarter over time as well. But really, it's just creating that habit of putting things away and saving that money so that when the emergency hits, because it will, right? Stuff's going to happen. You have the little nest egg there for you. And the final F is fun. So one thing that you can do to bring more fun into your life. I just returned from a vacation. I'm going on another quick weekend trip tomorrow. And so I recommend that. Create some vacations in your life. They don't have to be international trips. They don't have to be far domestic trips. They can be a short drive somewhere. Maybe it's within your own town. Maybe you have, hiking available or camping. But just create some time in your life to unplug, to get away, to get out of your normal routine, and go have fun and create that. And by doing those 6 things that I just listed, like I said, you will be putting in some reps. You will be strengthening your muscles across the 6 Fs, and you will feel like you are getting closer to having it all. So I appreciate you listening to this episode as we went through part 3 of the Having It All framework, talking about life. Like I said, I recommend you go and listen to the other 3 episodes. The first episode where I just give a broad overview of everything, and then part 1 where I talk about abundance, part 2 where I talk about life, and part 3 where I talk about, part 1 abundance, part 2 love, and part 3, which is what we just did, talked about life. Go back and listen to them, and work on defining what it means to you to have it all. And if you want to borrow a definition, if you want to borrow a framework, you can surely borrow mine, because that's what it's there for. So if you're into this show, if you're liking it, if you're enjoying what I'm putting out, then subscribe on iTunes. iTunes is a great place. If you are on Apple, go there, subscribe. Also leave a review. Reviews really help in getting this show out in front of other eyeballs, so more people can say that they have it all in life. If you're like me and you're not on Apple, then you can also go to Stitcher. The show is available on Stitcher as well as Google Play Music. Just search for podcasts and Having It All. You might have to put my name in there, Matthew Bivens, and you can find it in there. And also my website, MatthewBivens.com. I got contact information on there. If you have questions, if there's topics you want me to tackle in this podcast, I love that stuff. I always love receiving emails from listeners. They've been coming in, and so it's a lot of fun to see what people are asking and connecting with new folks. So I'm all about that. So go to MatthewBivens.com, click on the contact tab, and you can get in touch with me. And with that, my name is Matthew Bivens. I really, really appreciate you hanging out with me today and joining me on the podcast. And here is to you having it all. 2 quick things before you leave. First, Did you know that the Having It All podcast is a part of the Fireside Network? Yep, we are one of the esteemed shows that calls Fireside Network home. That means if you ever want to listen to a show outside of iTunes or Stitcher or whatever your favorite podcasting app is, all you need to do is visit firesidenetwork.com and under shows, select Having It All. From there, you can access all the episodes, see the show notes, learn about my guests, and more. Second, I am very excited to announce that my brand new website is live. Visit MatthewBivens.com and you can learn more about me, get plugged into an accountability group, and pick up some free content like the Abundance Benchmark. I am all about helping you not only identify what your ideal life looks like, but also helping you on your journey towards it. I want you to experience more abundance and love in your life. So, again, you can find out more information about all of that great stuff at MatthewBivens.com. Thank you once more for listening to the show, and here is to you having it all.